Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Rangers Rabble phone-in on a Monday evening. My name's Brian, your host tonight, and it's a stellar guest list tonight. I've got Robert. How are you doing, Robert?
Oh, champion. Love the phone-in, Brian, as you know, and looking forward to another 60 minutes of excitement.
Absolutely, absolutely. James, how are we?
I'm fine, mate. Good. Had a good day today, mate. Off work, so I've just been potting about the house, mate. Doing absolutely nothing. Been good.
Can't beat that. And Wolf, you've had a rather hectic weekend, to say the least. You're on mute.
My hectic weekend. That's because the host muted me and I didn't know, so I'm unmuted now. But yeah, I had a day off today as well. Come up the road after a hectic weekend, as you say. But yeah, we'll probably touch on that later.
Absolutely, yes. So I suppose we'll dive in. Thanks to everybody that's joined us tonight. Keep the comments coming in. I'll keep an eye on them as best as I can. So once the phone lines are open, we will let you know. And I suppose, Robert, there's no better place to start than yesterday's game at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Rangers 3. Were you like me kind of surprised at how easy it appeared that we dominated Hibs? I mean, to be quite honest, I think I've counted at least 12 players out injured. So for a team that's got 12 players out, you wouldn't expect such an easy sort of performance, would you?
No, listen, and it's an absolute credit to the boys that started. I think we touched on it yesterday after the match. John Souttar, standout. Leon King as well alongside them. I thought credit to them. They kept Kevin Nisbet, who's been a threat for Hibs all season, really, really quiet. Barring maybe a 10-minute spell midway through the first half, I don't think Hibs done too much. Obviously, they got their goal in the end, but I really didn't think they troubled us. McCrory has a save late on for the boy McKilty. But apart from that, he was really untroubled through the game. And I thought Rangers played really, really well. And I'd like to sort of the highlight Fashion Sakala. And I know a lot of our panel members don't really rate the guy and et cetera, but I thought he played really well yesterday. There was the assist for Hadji, if you can call it that, the knockdown, really, really good, really strong. And then he sort of created a couple of wee half chances for himself as well. One, he sort of flicked up and took in the volley on the left-hand side, second half. So I thought he deserves a mention because it's not been easy for him playing up front in that sort of lead role. And I think he's one of the guys you could ask him to play right back and he'd play it for you because he loves playing football. So no, to answer your question, man, wasn't surprised at how easy it was. No. I thought I was confident going there. Hibs are miles off it, really miles off it. The gap is, as you know yourself, is massive between the old firm and the rest. And I was confident we were going to get the win. Just really, and if anything, slightly annoyed we didn't keep a clean sheet. You're on mute, Brian.
It's getting used to mute, unmute nonsense. But James, yes, you could see it in Rory. Robbie McCrory, sorry. The fact that he let a goal in, it was his first goal. I think he let it in 5 games. So obviously that miffed him because he was wanting to keep that run up. But to be quite honest, since he's come in, the defence has been solid, and also he's been very well. He maybe had one or two moments where I think he fumbled one for a cross and stuff. But apart from that, he was pretty good.
He was. Again, I thought the boy looked pretty solid in goals. I thought he was. I thought he dealt with everything that came his way. Obviously, there's obviously nothing he could do with the header. Obviously, he steals a march on whoever it was marking him. Steals a march on that. You can't really kind of blame him for the goal. He pulled off a fair good saves for us. Again, looks confident. The first maybe 5-10 minutes he didn't look kind of confident, but after that, I think once the boy settled, he was fine again. Big John Souttar, I thought, was immense yesterday. I think he's certainly making me eat my words about him. Obviously, I go after the Old Firm game, but he's certainly making me eat my words now. I thought Big Lundstrom had a good game and all yesterday. Solid in a tackle. Don't think he kind of put a foot wrong. But that obviously I think that comes down to Ryan Jack being back in the team as well. He frees up the other ones to go and do the good stuff in the team. He does the donkey work or the dirty work. Him however you want to put it. But no, I thought it was a very comfortable 3-1. It should have been more. And again, as Robert says, I thought Fashion was really good as well. The guy seems to hang in the air for a ball. He just reminds me of Maurice Johnston. He jumps for a ball, man, and he's still there about 5 seconds later waiting for the ball to come onto his seat. But he did have a good game, and I thought it was a very comfortable 3-1.
Definitely. And the phone lines are now open, so if you want to broach any subject in relation to Rangers, you can. 0141 628 7237. You call, you decide the topic, what you want to speak about, transfers, teams, anything. Up to you. You decide. You phone Martin, and Martin will put you through. So, Wolf, the first of your appointments yesterday was obviously Easter Road, the first of 3. But as I said to Robert earlier, I wasn't too sure about. I'm never too sure about going to Hibs because, as you know, it's a difficult place to go. Were you even sort of taken aback by how easy it was at Easter Road?
No, not at all, because as somebody put in the comments earlier, Hibs are shite. I mean, that's top and bottom line. Hibs aren't a good side. They're just not. I mean, Kevin Nisbet's. I mean, there's a lot of Rangers fans sort of saying, we should go out and sign Kevin Nisbet. I said to my daughter at the game yesterday, there's Rangers fans want to sign him. I mean, he hardly kicked the ball. I mean, he was in John Suter's pocket. And I know Suter had a good game, and he's everything I expected him to be. But I mean, no, not for me. It's just the only Hibs player that I was even slightly impressed with yesterday was the wee guy on the wing. The boy is Eliu, and he had a decent first half. But even then, he didn't really do a lot because he didn't have a lot to aim for. And Kevin Nisbet was supposedly their target man. I think Hibs are very, very poor. I mean, look at the state of their goalkeeper. I mean, first goal, great hit by Taff, right? But I'm at the other end, and I've assumed that somebody's put their head on it because there's no way anybody should be scoring that at the near post past a competent professional goalkeeper. And I've seen it back, and he gets a good hand on it. He's got to be keeping that out. That's great technique from James Tavernier. But Hibs are rubbish. Hibs are all over the park. They're not very good. I mean, to me, it sums up what Scottish football is. If they're sitting 5th and pushing for 4th, they're really, really poor. When I was that was my second game of the weekend. I was actually at Tynecastle with my missus on Saturday, and Aberdeen aren't much better than Hibs, and Hearts aren't much better than that. I mean, they're just there's us, there's them, and the rest they're all really, really poor. So we should be doing what we've been doing, with the exception of rolling teams over. We shouldn't be worrying about going to places like Hibs and St Mirren and Hearts and whatever, because these teams, if we play well, these teams just aren't very good, which is part of the problem when it comes to us getting players. Because
hold that thought, Wolf. We've got John on the line. John, evening. How are you?
Hi, fine. I've got a quiz question for you.
Go on then.
It's about 22 players. I've just got to ask you something, what they have in common. Right. Dave McCann, Stuart Monroe, Colin West, Graham Roberts, Oleg Kuznetsov, Basil Bolly, Emerson, Gregory Vignal, Hugo Eggio, Pedro Mendes, Kyle Bartley, Juanma Ortiz, Salim Kerka, Stefan Poiré, Kane Hemmings, Graham Dorrans, Eduardo Herrera, Declan John, Jordan Rossiter, Ovi Ejaria, Florian Camberry, and the Calvinist Bassey. What do they have in common?
They all played for Rangers.
Yeah, that's true. Any idea at all? No?
I was kind of thinking when you said the first 3 or 4 names, I thought, well, maybe it's all Souness signings, but you've lost me completely here. I'm totally bemused. Carry on.
All the goals they scored were away from home at Rangers.
Fantastic.
Oh, they never scored at Ibrox?
No.
There you go. Every day's a school day, Wolf.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Bit of an anticlimax for me. I was like, something a bit more wonderful. But and away goal, baby. Brilliant.
That's a fantastic start.
I was waiting to say, I mean, when you said the first 3 or 4 names, I thought you were going to say who signed them in this, but No, that's some list.
Yeah.
John, I can't even remember some of them scoring goals for Rangers. I mean, I can't remember one or two scoring for Rangers. You know what I mean? That's an incredible start to the show tonight, because that's a fantastic question, a fantastic start.
Did Stuart Monroe score?
I'm going to have to watch this back about 4 times just to get the names right.
Graham Roberts scored at first part.
Oh, Graham Roberts, right? Okay. I think Stuart Monroe, he hit one off the post, I'm sure. I can't remember where.
He got one at the Tawdry, and it hit him and hit Derek Ferguson. He got one of them, and he got one at Tynecastle.
That's
and
right.
a draw.
It was the Tawdry I was thinking of, yes.
John,
Yeah.
John, just on guys that have scored away from home. What about Sunday's performance and the 3 goals that were scored, and Yanis Hadji getting his first goal of the season?
Yeah, I was delighted for Hadji. I've always liked him. Yeah. I just think we've got a kind of. I know there's not a critical time in the season, but we've got this kind of calmness about us, as if we just expect us to go out and win now. It's just, kind of got a kind of leadership about the way we're playing.
Do you feel as though the shackles are off, obviously, with everything that's happened with, the league gone and out of the cups? Do you think they've just kind of got a bit of freedom now?
It probably is that, but you look at it and you think, well, it'd be nice if the season was starting. I could see them carrying that on. I've got quite a good feeling about next season. Absolutely,
yeah. I think there's a definite optimism in the fan base with the outgoings and ingoings coming, John. So marvelous call open. Thank you very much. That's a start that probably none of us ever knew. So many thanks for calling, John.
Okay, thanks.
Take it easy.
Cheers, John.
There you go, Wolf. That's a start. Mate. I bet you never knew.
I kind of got sidetracked halfway through the list of players, because I was like you. I'm thinking that's all soon as signings, and then he was going on, and I'm thinking, nah. And even goals didn't come up my mind. I don't remember one or two scoring for Rangers as just one of the names that comes to mind. You know what I mean? And I would have sworn that Graham Roberts scored at Ibrox, but obviously he didn't. I mean, I've got no reason to doubt John. You know what I mean? It's an incredible question. And I'm hoping he rhymed those players off the top of his. I'm hoping he rhymed those players off the top of his head and didn't have them written down.
No chance. He had them written down.
I do distinctly remember Kerkar scoring up at Cali Stadium in a 4-0 or 4-1 win.
Oh, I remember Kerkar scoring, but I don't remember one RT scoring.
No, I don't remember what RTs either. No, absolutely not. But Wolf, just carry on from what you were saying.
I can't remember what I was saying. I think I was just rabbiting on about the rest of Scottish football not being very good.
Yes.
But no, I mean the game yesterday, we were never really in any doubt. It's whether we can score goals. We go to places like that. The way that Michael Beale sets the team up, he's what he's done is he's made us difficult to beat. I mean, when he came in, we were 9 points behind because we were dropping points to the likes of Hearts, to the Hibs, to teams like that. And with the exception, as I say, with the game at Pittodrie, with the exception of that, the only place we've slipped up is against that other lot, because we're blowing these other teams away. We're knocking them aside, which is what we should be doing. And to be fair, it's what they should be doing, which is why Old Firm games are so important now.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, Robert. You look at the season as a whole. Looking back now, to go to places like Easter Road and other away fixtures, it would almost been unthinkable to not have the likes of Kent and Morelos in the team. We don't even miss them. Apparently, from what I'm seeing, we don't miss them, do we?
Brian, this has been a problem for the club for the past 3 or 4 years, where there's been a fear of dropping players, a fear of letting players go, whether it be Morelos, Kent, even like Tavernier and Barisic at times, a fear of these players no starting matches. And I think what we've seen in the last 2 games is we've got players there that can come in and do a great job. Like Wilf touched on there, like about taking chances. I thought we took our chances well at the weekend. I thought we needed the Tavernier goal when it came, to be honest. But then from there on in, we sort of went up a level. So no, I agree with what you're saying. I just think there's been a bit of fear with the club for the last 3 or 4 years, even when it came to sort of letting players go. Players do come and go. That's just the long and the short of it.
Yeah. We have a guest.
Good evening. Good evening. I've had just a random thought. Look, we're talking about the Hibs game. We'll talk about transfers, etc. And by the way, I'm waiting on the other end of the phones for you to get your calls in 01416287237. But John's gave me an idea. Stephen, with a question in the comments, has gave me an idea. As it is getting towards the end of the season, and we'll all have the Big Fat Rangers quiz at the end of the season. If you want to phone up with some of your best quiz questions, please phone up and get them in and make them as difficult as you can for the guys as well, by the way. That was an absolutely brilliant call for John. Don't get me wrong. It felt like I was on the waltzers about halfway through the games that he was rhyming on. But that was brilliant, man. That was absolutely brilliant. So your best quiz questions, and don't make it the usual ones. But yeah, get your questions in. 01416287237. I'll hand it back to you, Brian.
By the way, did Stephen give you the answer to this question?
No. Do you know the answer to the question?
I don't know.
Go for it, and I'm pretty
James
sure.
knows it.
Okay, on you go, James.
I can give sorry guys, I can give you the answer to the Juan Ortiz question. Juan Ortiz scored against Maribor.
Go on then, James. Take it away. Who did Ali score against at Ibrox first?
Dumbarton.
There we go. Good
Stephen,
question.
Stephen needs to confirm that, but you're just giving it to James. We don't even know. Were you there, James?
I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong, James. I think Ali McCoy's first goal at Ibrox. Ali McCoy's first goal at Ibrox was against Rangers when he played with St Johnstone.
I think Stephen's meaning for Rangers.
That's not the question he asked.
It could be a trick question. He's put no sorry, so it is well, if it is a tricky one, look, he's put no sorry in the comments.
The answer's Rangers.
Oh, that was snaky, James. Snaky.
That was naughty, Stephen. That was naughty.
I'm not 100%
sure
we can accept that, Brian. I don't think we can accept that because Stephen never made that abundantly clear.
No.
Like, just because I got it right.
Well, still got it right, but
he's went full Anne Robinson there, hasn't he?
Aye. Magnus.
I mean, to be fair, Wolf and James are both right.
Aye.
No,
Aye.
yeah, no. I'm sorry, Stephen. Mate. I'm going to have to call VAR on that one. I think. I have no other idea. 01416287237. Get your calls in now, folks.
Yeah. So absolutely. Yeah, the VAR. Even in the pods, the VAR is coming out. So of course. Oh, here we go. How many did Ortiz score? Was it just the one? Brilliant. Oh, this could go sideways very quickly. But Robert, yeah, the transfers are obviously flying in left, right, and centre. You know, names here, names there, linked to every person under the sun. Cervantes is the guy that's getting linked to us from, I think it's Los Angeles Football in America. It's obviously very early days, and you know the best we're getting is pretty much either watching MLS if it's on Sky or it's the old YouTube stuff. So what have you made of this link?
Well, listen, I've not seen any of the guy play, so I'm not going to sit here and say that I can tell you any of his attributes. But the draw for me is the fact that I think Brighton will link with him, and if you look at their scouting and recruitment over the last 12-24 months, it's been phenomenal. Some really good players they've brought in, and I'm hoping this guy's maybe of a similar mould. The thing with Michael Beale when he was asked at the weekend was, or sorry, I should say in the week before the game, was he sort of touched on the contract not ending to December, which makes me think, are they trying to negotiate a fee for him to come now, or are we going to have to wait for this one and get him for nothing at the end of their season? Which, to be honest, it wouldn't be a bad thing because he'll finished playing and he can just carry on with that momentum. But either way, from what I've seen, sort of guys commenting on social media. He looks like a boy that can come in and sit alongside Raskin and really compliment him from what I've read, which is good. Then on to sort of, you're saying, but transfers, we've been told that maybe before the game or at halftime on Wednesday night, we're going to be announcing someone. If it's me and you're putting me on the spot, I think it might be the boy Sterling. He is out of contract at Chelsea. There's been noise about him before now.
I just say, Robert, I've actually got some inside information.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. Apparently, the club are looking at and are very close to signing Philip Sebo.
What's happened tonight? What has happened tonight? He's up a mountain. He does all this.
That's rotten, Pat. I'm sorry.
Not really bad, isn't it? VAR decision, yellow card. Sorry, is there a phone call? Sorry, Brian.
No. Couple of questions.
Oh, here we go.
Paul has come out with one. 3 players to score in their Old Firm debut, all in the same
game. I think he must mean
same game.
Yeah.
I've got a sneaky suspicion I know this one.
Come on then.
Is it the 5-1 where Flo scored his debut goal?
Who else scored on that day?
Ronald de Boer. He scored in that game. Moles, I'm sure, scored. I've just got a sneaky suspicion that's the game he's on about. I'm not 100%. I'm just throwing that one out there. Anybody want to lift it any higher or any other ideas?
I'm sitting way back in this.
During Souness's time as manager, who scored the most goals against Rangers? Oh, come on in, James.
Terry Butcher.
100% correct.
Yep. 3, I think it was 3 own goals, wasn't it?
5.
5, was it?
Yep.
He liked an own goal, didn't he?
One against Dundee United was a belter. If you get the chance to see that,
Yes.
right here, I think it was Woodsy's head or something. Belter.
That was his last ever appearance for Rangers. Never played for us again after that goal.
Wow.
There was another one floating around. Hold on. I know this one even by just reading it. Who missed the penalty at Easter Road in 1975 when we stopped 9 in a row and won the league?
Sandy Jardine.
Correct. It's probably one of the only penalties he missed. Yes, so if you've got any other quiz questions or anything Rangers related, give us a phone. Don't be shy. It's always good to chat and get things out in the open. Oh, here we go, Paul. Yep, Flo, De Boer and Moles, even though he got injured before, so missed his debut. There we go.
Sorry, just Brian, before Martin jumped in.
I stopped you mid-flow, sorry.
I think it might be the boy Sterling on Wednesday. There's guys in the comments saying it's the kid Dowell from Norwich, but it looks like it's going to be somebody that's out of contract that can sign on now. Again, 2 players that I don't really know a lot about, but you've got to just, I was speaking with Kerr and Martin at the weekend. I think you trust Michael Beale looking at the 2 he's brought in now, Cantwell and Raskin, how much of an impact they've had. I mean, I think we're going to be talking in 5-10 years' time about how much of a great signing Todd Cantwell has been for this football club, because he just seems to look like he was born to play for Glasgow Rangers. So if I would trust Michael Beale with whoever he's bringing in, it's going to be a busy summer, because we're going to find out. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow in the presser about who's leaving and who's not. So that's interesting enough. And then obviously the bodies we're going to bring in. So nice to see that we're getting some work done early. That's what I'm most impressed by. We need to get this done early so they're all in for pre-season and we're no scrambling around up until deadline day.
Alexander's got a question, and we will be doing part 2 of the Cooper Legends tomorrow. We'll be recording it tomorrow. So James and Wolf, what team did Rangers play and Davy Cooper made his debut playing for Rangers?
No idea.
Hold on, we've got a bidder here.
Clydebank.
No, that's who we played for. That's who we signed them from.
We signed him from Clydebank.
Playing for Rangers, I thought playing against Rangers. Sorry.
Yes.
Goodbye,
No.
Mark.
Don't worry. God loves a trier. No, he played for Rangers, but who did he play in his debut for Rangers against? Now, bear in mind, this is about 1977, so
It's going to be a pre-season friendly the summer of 1977. It could very well, I don't know the answer, but it could have been a Drybrew Cup game or a Tennant Caledonian Cup because that was on the go around about then. So I don't actually know the answer, but
Airdrie. So there we go. Our very own guy from the pod, Craig, has got a little one on the way, and he's looking for names. Now, this could be wild. This could be very much Oleg Singh and stuff like that, you know. we could get some funny sort of offers and suggestions on this. So, here we go, Martin.
Alexei Mikhailichenko Harrison.
Why not? It's a beautiful name.
It's a great
why not
name.
the first goal? Craig, why not the first goal scorer on Wednesday night? Just like that's how Sati Singh named his kids. So what about the first goal scorer on Wednesday night? And just hope it's not somebody with a really, really strange name.
It's not a bad shout.
Can I just also say a big, massive thank you to Des Mason for the super chat that he's put in. Again, all your support is greatly appreciated. As you all know, we are pushing for press access, and of course, we're pushing to take the podcast full time. If you want to help us along with that as well, you can sign up to our Patreon and get at least one show every single day. Obviously, the more people that sign up and the closer we get to being full time, there will be 2, 3, 4 shows per day. There'll be press access, the B team, the women's team, the first team, the lot. You will have all access to Rangers because that's the direction that the Rabble is heading in. And a big, massive thank you as well to our sponsors for the podcast, Let Me Repair UK, for all your mobiles, computers, laptops, everything electrical. The link for the website is in the description of this video. So a big thank you to our sponsors. Big thank you to Des. A big thank you to everybody we have on Patreon for your support that you put into the podcast. It is phenomenal. So thank you very much. And I think we should maybe get back to talking about football, Brian.
Yes. Well, I would just like to say, I think the very Des Marston you're speaking about is from my parish. He's from Forest. So thanks, Des. Can't be too many that I know. So he watches it all the time, so thank you, Des.
And also, it is a phone in. So 01416287237. Get your calls in now.
Absolutely.
Right, Brian, sorry, before Martin just kept talking and talking, he actually left us with a brilliant segue there, but he just kept talking.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's talking about the shows that we do, and following fast on the heels of this at 9 o'clock, me and you will be back along with Karen and Laura to pick the bones out of the women's game yesterday, where we were lucky enough to have press access. So we watched it from the gantry. The girls watched it from the front of the Sandy Jardin. So again, it's thanks to all you guys out there that gave us that privilege yesterday. So once we're finished here, go and nip your dog round the corner, stick your kettle on, and then come back and visit us at 9 o'clock, and we'll talk about the women's game for yesterday.
Could be a long one. Yes. Well, we've got.
It better not be. I'm up early.
We've got a couple of Todd shouts. We've got a Rabbi Harrison. It could be absolutely anything if you decide to do that down the Sati Singh line. But well, now this could be a turn up for the books. Fashion Harrison. This is where you're thinking, oh, this is not a good decision.
Folks, this is getting ridiculous. Get on that phone, even phone us up with your quiz questions. You can hit us on the spot. Just get on the phone 01416287237. It'll stop Martin continually popping up on the screen reminding us to do it. So pick up the phone, dial the digits, give us something to talk about.
When Robert was speaking, James, about obviously, I mentioned the fact that we didn't miss Kent, we didn't miss Morelos yesterday. Do you think that's been a big hindrance of us over the last 2 or 3 seasons, that it's almost as though these guys have almost felt undroppable because of who they are and what they've done?
Aye, and it shouldn't be that way at Rangers. It should be a case of if you're not performing, you shouldn't be in the team. It's as simple as that. But the way we have been, we've not had anybody to come in and replace him. For me, I think the best striker we've got at the club is injured in the Roof. And it's just unfortunate because I think when he's bang on it, I don't think Morelos gets anywhere near the team because I think he's a better all-round striker for me. And it's just been one of the things. Ken, I just don't. I think the guy's been an empty shirt for about a season and a half now. I just don't think he's pulled his weight at all. And again, it's one of the ones. Who do you play in there? We didn't have anybody that was going to come in and replace him. It was a case of, oh, he might do it today. Oh, he's a big game player. We were all making excuses for them. Oh, they will show up. But they just didn't. And I think now, obviously, Michael Beale's come in and said, well, I'm not putting up with this anyway. I'm not making big changes in the summer. And there will be competition for places now. And if I think Robert was saying there, if they're anything like Todd Cantwell, then I think they're going to wipe the flare with that mob next year. I just think that under Beale, I think we've got that fight back in us that we've been missing. When Todd Cantwell came in, I thought he was going to be one of these luxury type players. He would make things happen, but the boy's an all-rounder. He loves getting in, touring about it. He loves a tackle. He loves winding folk up, and that's what we've been crying out for years now. And I think the summer, I'm actually looking forward to it. I renewed my season ticket a couple of weeks ago, even though I said I wasn't. But no, I'm really looking forward to next season.
Hold that thought. We've got Ian on the line. Ian, how are you doing?
Not bad, guys. Nice to talk to you all again.
Yes, nice to hear from you again.
Thanks very much, Brian. I've got a question for you guys. We were talking about how poor the SPL is at the moment, and I just want your guys' opinion. Do you think that started when they relegated Rangers to the bottom league?
Sorry, Ian. It's an interesting take, and certainly, obviously, Celtic then ran away with it, and maybe Aberdeen get a bit giddy with themselves. But if I'm honest, I think the gap comes purely due to the player quality that you can attract. I don't dare say that these guys or the other clubs are not trying their hardest. But as Michael Beale touched on in the week, when you're playing each other 4 times, and then so they've got to play 4 games against Celtic, 4 games against Rangers, it's a lot of points to drop. So that's why you get this golfing gap. I don't think that there's. I mean, I thought Wolf was a wee.
We had that. There was these problems. There was these same situations, guys, before Rangers went down the leagues. We were still playing 4 times a season, and there was better competition. But when we went down the leagues, nobody seemed to give a toss. Celtic just throwed it. They didn't make any investment. They didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And neither did any of the other teams. They just strolled through the first 3 years until Rangers come back up and woke everybody up and everybody thought to themselves, well, we need to do something here. And by then, of course, it's too late because there's 3 years or 4 years of no investment in anything.
Yeah.
The only team that invested were Rangers.
Wolf?
Sorry, if I can jump in. Sorry, Robert, if I can jump in here, Ian. I think part of the problem, and there was. I mean, it was between Rangers and Celtic before we got demoted. I don't like using the word relegated. We got demoted because, I mean, the last non-Old Firm team to win the league was Aberdeen in 1985. So it's happened a long time before that. But when we came back up, and we beat them in the semi-final in 2016 when we were still in the Championship. Right, that gave them a fright. That's when they brought in Brendan Rodgers, spent a fortune on him, and started spending money on players. Because let's be honest, the whole time we were away, Celtic should have been winning trebles. They should have been winning everything. But they didn't. They didn't start winning trebles till we came back up because we gave them a fright when we beat them at Hampden in 2016. So they spent money on a manager and on players.
Billions. Yeah.
So they invested as much as they could. Then we came up, and the object of the exercise when we brought in Steven Gerrard was to stop them winning 10 in a row, which is what we did. But we had to throw money at that.
Yeah.
And then they've after that they've thrown money to get back on top again. And nobody else in Scotland's got money because, the next biggest ground after Ibrox and Parkhead, the next biggest ground is Easter Road, 21,000. I mean, that's less than half the size of Ibrox. So they don't have the finance coming in.
I think we're going to have the same problem moving on. Well, it's going to be a case of, who's going to take points? Who's going to take points off us or Celtic next season? So it's going to come. There's absolutely no competition.
Well, that's the point. I mean,
surely that's not good for the league. I mean,
it certainly isn't.
A lot of this goes back to the investment by the SFA and the SPFL about the TV deal.
The TV deal's ludicrous.
The TV deal we got from Sky TV give more to English women's football than they do to the SPL. To English women's football, they invested more money in it.
Yeah, I don't blame Sky Television. I don't blame any of the TV companies because they've come in and they've seen a gap, and they've said to the clubs in Scotland, look, here's a deal, right? Now the deal that we're already working. I'm all working in just now, right? It doesn't run out till I think 2025. But they came in and said, look, we'll give you a deal till 2029, and it's actually worth less than they're on just now. And the other clubs in Scotland are so scared of the TV deal collapsing in 2025 that they said it's guaranteed money for the next 7 or 8 years. We're going to take it, right? Now, I can't believe Celtic agreed to that because it was an 11-1 vote, and we're the only club that voted against it, to my knowledge, right? Well, there was one club voted against it, and it must have been us because there's no way we would have accepted that. So Celtic must have voted for it, right? Which is ridiculous because the new TV deal they signed is worth less than the one they're on. But you can't blame Sky for it because Sky have basically paid next to nothing for 4 Old Firm games a season, which is all they're interested in. All the other clubs are interested in is their own survival.
I asked the question of why that contract wasn't put out to tender.
Well, Ian, if you remember,
put it out to tender and then get back to Sky.
I agree 100% with you, but if you remember a couple of years ago, Rangers said, look, we need a root and branch investigation, a root and branch look into Scottish football, and we as a football club will pay for it. We won't ask anybody else for money. We will pay for this. And everybody else went, nah, you're okay, don't worry about it, we don't want it. So it's their own fault. It's Scottish football's own fault because they turned down the chance of having a look at what was wrong with the game.
If you look at the way the showing of football's going, guys, in 5 years' time, Sky will be finished. All these streaming companies that own the rights to them, Amazon, Netflix, and people like that, they'll own the rights. Sky will be finished because that's the way that the world's going. The world's not, everything's watched on your phone now.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to put. I think that's the route Scottish football needs to go down. If you look at the MLS, they've now just launched this season a big deal with Apple TV. As you say, a streaming service, and I think that is the route to go down to get the most revenue. I think that, as you say, and as Wolf puts really, really eloquently there, the other teams are just absolutely petrified of losing any money there. So
petrified that they're going to lose the money. Yeah.
And that's the long and short. You hear Davy Martindale talking about how much a bottom 6 places cost him next season. He's looking at 200 grand missing for his budget, so they're going to take whatever money they're getting offered, aren't they? I do think, as you say, Sky will lose matches and it will go down a streaming route. But Scottish Football just needs to open its eyes and be a bit braver and take risks. You've got to take risks.
But that's the point. We had the chance to lead the way. I mean, the English Premiership now are talking about opening up their own streaming service and taking it away from TV altogether. The Premiership. No, that should be the kind of stuff that Scottish football should be looking into.
You're 100%.
You're revenue that way.
You're 100% right.
You could make for Rangers and Celtic if they had a streaming service.
Yeah, you're right. But the problem that we've got is because they've signed this TV deal that they've signed with Sky till 2029. Sky basically control all the games. I mean, even the games they're not showing live. You've still got to get permission for them to stream them on your own channel. So as Robert said there, and yourself as well, it is all going stream. It's going to be Apple TV, it's going to be Disney, it's going to be Netflix, it's going to be all these guys. But the problem is we're stuck with Sky till the end of this decade. And then when all these streaming services,
we've tied ourselves up for the next 9 years. Yep. That's crazy.
Yep. When all these streaming services come in and say, right, look, we want a TV deal, we'll buy a TV deal, right? The starting level is what we're currently on. So they'll come in and say, your deal with Sky was worth whatever it is. They'll increase that a little bit, but it's a very, very low bar to start with. So even when they come in, they're going to get it for a song because again, the clubs are scared. It's another substantive job. Yeah, the clubs are scared, right? That what happens to the TV deals, the same that happened when Setanta went down, and then somebody suggested an SPFL TV, which was never going to be a goer. and they were all panicking that there was absolutely no money coming in. They'd rather take very, very little than risk having absolutely nothing, which is it's absolutely scandalous. I mean,
Rangers and Celtic would have been better off giving them the money that they would have got and taking the chance on another company.
Yeah,
as I say, should that cost Rangers and Celtic combined to pay them the money from a £9 million bloody TV deal over 5-6 seasons? That would have been nothing.
For me, in the pandemic, should have shown these clubs that streaming games themselves can make the money, because everybody had to stream their own games. You know, Sky still picked up the games that they contracted for, but St Mirren TV showed all their games, Hearts TV showed all their games, Aberdeen TV showed all their games. Obviously, we showed all our games that weren't on, on the normal sort of services, and they must have made the money. So they must have realised that this situation actually works. But they still went, "Nah, it's okay. We'll just sign this Sky deal." It mystifies me. It does. Scottish football is eating itself.
And then all these teams turn around and say, "Oh, but we've got no money and we can't do this. We can't put in a proper football pitch because we can't afford the upkeep of it." So you get 3 teams next season playing in the SPL with plastic pitches. I mean, it's just incredible. Yeah. I mean, Scottish football is a laughing stock. It's an absolute laughing stock. Yeah. And what these people don't realise, if Rangers and Celtic ever, and I don't ever think it'll come to that, but if Rangers and Celtic ever leave that league, Scottish football's finished.
Yeah. It's not ideal, Ian, but anyway, lots of calls coming in, so thank you very much.
Yeah, great to talk to you guys again. It's been a while.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, Ian.
Also, since we last were on live on YouTube, we had the live show in Uddingston, so it was nice to see a good few years along that we could put names to faces, and we'll obviously have another one very soon. When that'll be, I don't know, but it was nice to meet a lot of you there. And as I say, we see names in the chat, but we don't see faces. But it was really good to see a lot of you there, and it was just like a normal pod, wasn't it, Wolf?
It was very good. It was nice to be able to, to actually meet in person some of the people that we see the names scrolling through. It was really good. It was actually a really good night. I felt a wee bit sorry for Ricky, who had to sit there basically holding an iPhone for an hour and a bit. But yeah, it was really. I mean, he said he was fine. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Even Martin was quite good on the night. You know what I mean? That is self achievement. So yeah, it was a really good night. Hopefully we can get another one done very, very soon. And maybe keep you a bit more sober this time.
Absolutely. But no, it was a good night. And we raised, I think, just north of £300 for the Rangers Charity Foundation. So thanks to everybody that, bought raffles and tickets and stuff. So it all went to a good cause. So, Robert, back to the old transfers. We spoke about Cervantes, if I believe that the pronunciation is correct.
Cifuentes,
sorry, yes.
There you go.
Cifuentes. There's obviously there's going to be names coming left, right, and centre between now. But I suppose the only important thing is that until a scarf's above somebody's head and they're standing in the blue room at Ibrox or outside the front door, there's not much sort of you take from rumours, is there?
No, there's not, but you can sort of get a gauge. And do you know what's really annoying me? A real lack of connection with any strikers. We're getting linked to infielders and defenders and goalkeepers, but where's the strikers? Because we're going to need 2 centre forwards, I think, and maybe maybe 3 sort of wingers, if you can call that so wide forwards. So I'd like to see a bit some links to some attacking players and some excitement, but and whether that's going to be cash spend or guys come at the end of their contract, but you know yourselves, like, you don't get goals for nothing, do you? It's really different. Nobody lets a guy that's scoring a lot of goals away for free unless you're Glasgow Rangers. So Martin was waiting in the box to remind people that they wanted a P about his Patreon. That's went over my head. I'm not even going to give that the credit it deserves. So I just think that it's really important that we look at the top end of the pitch, because you know yourselves, strikers win you leagues, as well as a good goalkeeper. I think we've got a good goalkeeper at the club now. Kerr seems really confident that we're going to get Jack Butland over the line. So that'll be two really good goalkeepers as far as I'm concerned. It's just that top end of the pitch that I want to see a bit more activity in, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, James, we've heard about midfielders and defenders and all this. And as Robert says, there's not been much chat of a goal scorer, is there?
No, there has not. And that's what we've been crying out for, a 15, 20 goal scorer striker for a number of years now. And I just hope that Beale's got one up his sleeve somewhere that he's going to pull out and bring into the club, because it is, and it's the hardest part of the football, is to obviously score the goals. So hopefully Beale's obviously get that identified. He's keeping it quiet just now. And never know, it could be that guy that's getting announced on Wednesday night. Although
Well,
I do have a bad feeling it might be Tillman.
You killjoy, James, killjoy. Linda, yes, it was my birthday yesterday. Yes. 50% of it was good, as in the Rangers men won, and then unfortunately, as we'll speak about later on, things didn't work out too well for the women, but we'll be there at 9 o'clock with Wolf, Carr and Laura. So yes, thank you very much. So Wolf, we've got Hearts on Wednesday. We then go away to St Mirren. If you just hold that thought. Yes, sorry. James mentioned Tillman, he's obviously had the hamstring injury now. He's went back to Bayern. Is it a case of that? Is the vast majority of fans now in the boat of not signing Tillman, do you think?
Well, Bayern must have moved the location because he was in Glasgow last night, because he was at the Player of the Year Awards accepting his Young Player of the Year award, where I was fortunate enough to be at that. And Dougie Donnelly, who was hosting the evening, asked him at the end of the interview, I thought it was quite cheeky of him to ask him about his future. And he said, obviously, there's a lot of chat about whether you're staying, whether you're going. And Tillman's exact words were, I haven't decided yet. Now, whether he's just saying that because he knows the answer is he's coming or whatever, but for me, if he genuinely hasn't decided yet, do we really want him? Because I want players that want to play at Rangers. Now, Tillman's been at Rangers long enough that he'll know whether he wants to be at the club or not. So, unless it's a case that he is the announcement on Wednesday and they want to keep it under wraps, but if he genuinely hasn't decided, then I don't think I want him, irrespective of what the price is, because you want players that want to be at the club. I mean, I'm on record as saying I'd sign him in a minute. But if he doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to be here. I think that's the start for me, is a stumbling block. But on the subject of the Player of the Year awards, which I know we're just going to want to talk to, I'm sure everybody's seen all the awards that everybody won. Good night for James Tavernier. I mean, he won 3. Also a very good night for young Aaron. No, I'm just jumping ahead for you. Also a very, very good night for young Aaron Lyle, who got the Academy Awards. Look at that. That's what they called it as well. I busted laughing when they referred to it as the Academy Awards. He got the young player, the Player of the Year at the Academy, and the Players Player at the Academy. So that was good. The one that got me, Martin's jumped in. What are you going to say, Martin?
Aaron Lyle has been absolutely phenomenal this season.
He has. He has
fully deserved his award, and he has won for me. I know he got a few minutes against Hibs, but he is definitely one for the future. As soon as anybody talks about Aaron Lyle, I need to join in the conversation. Absolutely phenomenal young player, and he's somebody.
I also read some.
So I just wanted to ask, what is he? If you're saying he's definitely one for the future, what's he got that you see that you think he can play for the first team? Because I mean, I only watched the Glasgow Cup game, and I must say that I was sort of, I've said this before, just shocked at how small the guys look. They don't look really physical. I think the only one that maybe looked big for his age was Bailey Rice. So what is it about Lyle that you think he can bring to the party?
He's so strong on the ball. He's got that low centre of gravity. He's got a fantastic pass on him. He can run with the ball. He can score goals. He can set up. He's just an all-round fantastic midfielder. He's got a lot of growing to do, don't get me wrong. He does. He's got a lot of growing. He's not ready for the first team as of like the start of next season, don't get me wrong. He will need at least another season in the B team, if not possibly a loan to build him up a bit. But he's absolute 100% pure quality.
There you go, Robert. Question.
Also, sorry, Martin, I don't know if there's truth in this, but I also read something earlier that as well as making his first team debut yesterday and getting 2 awards last night, Aaron Lyle also signed an extension to his contract, but I haven't seen that from the club. I saw that on a media outlet earlier, so I don't know how true that is. But
I haven't seen that.
That'd be great if that was true.
I haven't seen it confirmed, Wolf, but I would be amazed if he doesn't. I would be absolutely amazed. He has been by far, and I've been to a lot of B team games this season with Wally Urban covering them, which of course you can hear all the B team reports and updates on our Patreon. But I've been to a lot of them this season, and Aaron Lyle for me has been absolutely outstanding, phenomenal player.
100%.
Right, sorry, Brian. While we're on the subject of the Player of the Year, where I was getting to with them reading out of all those awards, right? There's one that I'd like you guys to give me a definition of it, right? As the goal of the season, right? Now, I don't know if you're aware, the goal of the season for the first team was given to Tony Cholak for his goal against PSV Eindhoven, which was a 2-yard tap-in, right? Now, I get the significance of the goal. It gave us Champions League football for the first time in a decade, and it was a really, really important goal. But for me, that's not how you define the goal of the season. I just wonder what you guys think about your definition, because I don't know if you know who the runners and riders were for it, but for me, personally, my goal of the season would have been Malik Tillman's against Motherwell, because it's something you don't see very often. You know, I mean, you get the tough free kicks, he does 4 or 5 of them a season. So they're great goals, but he does them. He did one yesterday.
You took the words out of my mouth.
You know what I mean?
Took the words out of my mouth. It's almost a goal that's out of the ordinary, individualist, skill, a bit of guile, a bit of, everything. I get the significance of the Cholak goal. Obviously, it was worth a lot of money, but I'm sorry. When has a 2-yard tap-in ever been a goal of season for Rangers? I'm sorry. I'm just not having that at all. Tillman's at Motherwell was by far and away the best goal of the season this year. He took it from his own box, his own half. He mazied through about 5-6 players and, unleashed it in the corner. It was a fantastic goal. It was an individualist goal, and that's what you want as a goal of the season.
See, that's why before you come in, that's why I find it quite strange, because it was voted for by the supporters, but everybody I speak to say, no, Tillman's goal or a tough free kick, or you know what I mean, the 60 pass goal. Nobody I've spoke to said, yeah, a 3 or 4 year tap in, but that's the one that was voted as by the supporters as a goal of the season. It's all quite strange for me.
Yes. I'm not going to pick the same as Brian. Then I'll go a wee bit different. I would give to Kent for the goal against Celtic, because it's vintage Ryan Kent. That's the Kent we all know and love. That's what we know he's capable of. And obviously it's a goal and a game of some sort of magnitude as well. So, but I know what you're saying, Wolf, and I give it Brian. Brian sums it up perfectly. It's something you don't see every day. It's a goal that sort of keeps your mouth open. Wow, it's a wow moment, isn't it? As you see a 2-yard tap in Eindhoven, it's not a wow moment. Albeit we get to the Champions League, so it's a strange one, as you say. It's the one that got the most attention from the awards night, from what I've seen on social media this morning. So, as you say, a bit bizarre, but nonetheless, you can't take it off Cholak. That'll be on his mantelpiece. Did
you have any other opinion, James, or were you Tillman and sort of a Kent goal?
No, I would say I really like Todd Cantwell's goal against Aberdeen. Mm-hmm. The way the boy takes it outside of the boot and curls it into the bottom corner. I thought that was a belter. No, but I would have no chances Cholak's goal this season. No, it's nah.
No, exactly. But we'll quickly run through the Player of the Year and the awards that were awarded that night. So obviously James Tavernier was given the top goal scorer award.
Sorry, Brian. Sorry, can I cut across you there? Right, that's a really, really bad. It's been said by a lot of people today. He was given it. He earned that because he's a top goal scorer. You know what I mean? You're not given that. I know it's only a figure of speech, but that's what he won. You know what I mean? He won that because he was given 2 other awards, but he actually won that award. Because I know it's a wee bit pedantic, but it's just he even said it last night. You know, the the Sam English ball was given to. It wasn't given to. He earned it.
Yeah. Well, Antonio Charlock was given goal of the season by the
Voted
supporters.
anyway.
James Tavernier again was voted Men's Players Player of the Year, which is no surprise, really, Robert, is it?
Just get myself off mute there. No, I don't think it was a surprise. I mean, not to be rude, but I don't think it's been a vintage campaign for anyone. And I think the captain's had a lot of milestones sort of throughout the season, so deservedly so. And he, as I said yesterday after the game, he seems to come up in big moments with goals. I know he's also involved in big moments at the other end with sort of negative press, which I won't go into too much on his big night. But I just think that he's probably the standout of not a bad bunch, but an average campaign. And I think maybe if Todd Cantwell had been there for the start of the season, we'd be saying the same thing, because he's really stole the show since January. And something that sort of James said that I wanted to pick up earlier, he sort of said, he's excited for next season because Michael Beale's get players with fight in them and stuff. And I think I take sort of umbrage with that slightly, in the sense that I think the players themselves have to have that. I don't think that's something you can put into them. Todd Cantwell seems to have come with this, where he's trying to he's re-energised himself in a light blue jersey and seems to be sort of trying to get his career back on track. He's bought into the club massively. And I think whoever's going to follow him through the doors between now and the start of the next season has to do exactly the same, because you want absolute warriors out there every other week, and that's maybe why Malik Tillman's a no for me, because I just don't think he's got that in him, that fire. But no, James Tavernier, a worthy winner.
We've probably got time for one more call if somebody wants to squeeze one in quickly. Get on the phone quick, Mark. I'll be there waiting for you.
Can I address the comments of the Should Have Cancelled the Player of the Year awards, please?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I get where people are coming from. It's been said to me quite a lot over the last weekend and the last few days. I get where people are coming from. It's not been a great season for us, right? But to play devil's advocate, and this is all I'm doing is playing devil's advocate, right? We're going to finish with probably more points than the points total we finished on a number of times we've won the league in our living memory. It's just the fact that other lot have been incredibly consistent, right? But even taking away from that, because it hasn't been a good season for us, and I get where people are coming from, that they're effectively celebrating failure, right? Every club has Player of the Year awards, not to the grand scale that we do them, right? I believe that, next Sunday, I know for a fact it's Hibs Player of the Year award, right? They're probably going to beat my Hearts on Saturday, so they're having it on the back of that. It's also Dundee United's Player of the Year awards next Sunday, when they're probably celebrating relegation. So everybody has them, irrespective of how your season finishes. So I get it's difficult to take. And obviously Rangers big it up. The only reason Rangers big it up is all the awards are sponsored. That's the reason they big it up. Because obviously they need the sponsorship revenue. That's effectively why they do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to play devil's advocate, but it was, it's just one of them. Everybody does it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Young Player of the Year, James, was Malik Tillman. Now, I don't think there's any arguments about that, James. I mean, he's been quite clearly the young. The best young player out there, isn't he?
He has, and again, obviously, he's not one that I would want us to sign. However, when you look at his stats, they're immense for a 20-year-old. They are, because we obviously used to rant and rave about Joe Aribo, but his stats are better than what Aribo had in 3 years at the club. Do you know what I mean? And that was his first year, but he probably was the only one that we could have gave it to, because he was good in spells with us, so he's obviously one of the ones that he was a standout young player of the year.
Yes, and as it's been mentioned, Aaron Lyle won the Academy Player of the Year. And Wolf, a little explanation, maybe folk don't know quite a lot about this one. The John Gregg Achievement Award was given to none other than the late Jimmy Bell. Now, that was a nice touch from the club. How was that sort of taken in the room at the time? I mean, did anybody know of it, or was it sort of a bit of a surprise?
Again, Brian, I'm going to correct you. It wasn't a nice touch by the club. This is an award that Mr. Gregg makes himself. He decides who gets this. We were sitting thinking, well, who's going to get it? We were actually discussing it at the table. I was asking who's going to get it. What's he going to give it? And Mr. Gregg stood up and said, "Look," he says, obviously, he says, it's a difficult one for me every year to decide who gets this award. He says, and with everybody here's approval, with the approval of everybody, I'd like to give it posthumously to Jimmy Bell. And everybody just stood up. You got a standing ovation for that. And then Disco Dave Lavery, who worked with Jimmy for a number of years, still at the club, worked with Jimmy long and weary. Jimmy's best pal at the club. He stood up and accepted it posthumously on Jimmy's behalf and on the family's behalf. And fair play to Disco. He had a speech prepared or whatever, and he got through it, but he only just got through it. You know what I mean? I mean, there was a lot of people close to tears, and I mean, Disco walked off the stage in tears because that's how much Jimmy Bell meant to everybody. You know, it was certainly the best received award of the night, and it is one that, I mean, Mr. Greg should absolutely, with everybody's kind of blessing, I want to give it posthumously to Jimmy because everybody just loved Jimmy Bell, and the stories people were telling stories about Jimmy all night, and it was just fantastic. And to me, that was the highlight of the night for me. Really, I mean, that was just, they could just have told us to go home.
We've got one last caller on the line. Des, how are you doing?
Hello, Brian.
Very well, yourself?
Fine, another Forest Loon, as you said. Well, yes. Brian and the rest of the panel, I'm a first-time caller, but as Brian said earlier, I do watch the Rabble regular, and I do try and help and give you a donation as often as I can. But I am also a subscriber to 2 other podcasts. So now I stand in the pub and call myself a Rangers supporter, but the club doesn't get any money from me. I don't buy merchandise. It's years since I've been in Ibrox, and I'm not a season ticket holder. So I'm proud to call myself a Rangers supporter, but I don't give the club any money. Now, you guys have a great podcast, and I watch another 2. But what would your thoughts be if Rangers Football Club had their own podcast? There must be millions of supporters like me throughout the world, like in Britain or Commonwealth and throughout the whole world. Call ourselves Rangers supporters, but we don't put any money into the club. What if Rangers FC had a podcast that would have 4 members, like a director, a player, a coach and staff, and they had a pod similar to what you guys are doing, but that £5 a month would go straight into Rangers Football Club, where we would then we're able to help a wee bit. What would your thoughts be, and if the club themselves done a similar thing, throughout the whole world, where, I don't know, tens of thousands, millions of people may pay a £5 a month?
That's a fantastic idea. I mean, I know for a while Rangers did have a podcast, and it was a kind of weekly thing that they did, but it was just they basically recorded a show and put it out, and it was all things that were happening at Ibrox. And it was usually it was the media department that did it. It was normally Nick Thompson that did it. That's a fantastic idea, but I don't know how workable it would be, because they'd have to be very, very, very careful of what they said, just because the slightest little slip will get picked up, particularly by the people that don't like us. You know, I mean, we're only a small Rangers podcast, obviously looking to get a lot bigger, but we've had instances where stuff's been clipped and, you know, stuck out because it's going out live. If Rangers were to do something like that and it wasn't going to be a live thing, and it could be, you know, edited down and monitored, it's a fantastic idea. It really is. It's a fabulous idea, and I'm sure it's something that James Bisgrave will pick up on, because I don't doubt for a second that he's got people watching every single Rangers podcast out there. So, Des, if they do pick up your idea, don't forget to tell them it was your idea and get some fucking royalties off them.
Well, I just think, how many people are like me? We call ourselves a Rangers supporter, but I didn't put nothing into the club. It's years since I've been at Ibrox. Now I support your pod and other pods as best as I can, but none of that. I'm doing it to keep your pod going and the other pods going, but I didn't put nothing into the club. And
doesn't make you any less of a Rangers fan than any one of us with this.
Can I quickly respond? Can I quickly respond to you, Des, as well?
I just thought maybe that would be a good idea, where how many millions is there throughout the world in America or Australia, throughout Europe or whatever? We all call ourselves Rangers supporters, but there isn't this opportunity to help the club.
What I will say to you, Des, is that with the money that obviously comes into our podcast, we sponsor B team players. We raise money for the Rangers Charity Foundation. The reason that we are looking to grow isn't to put, thousands of pounds in our pockets. It's to be able to afford to do it full time, but also to put that money back into Rangers at the same time. So people like yourself supporting this podcast, inadvertently, I suppose, in a way, because you don't know, is actually also helping to support Rangers Football Club. So even though you don't go to the games, you don't buy merchandise, people putting money into our podcast, other podcasts, is also putting money back into the club. Oh, have we lost him?
I'm saying, there you go, Des. So you are supporting the club in some shape, way, or form with just donations and stuff like that, because we're sponsoring B team players and donations to the Rangers Charity Foundation. So you are supporting the club in some shape, way, or form. So never ever feel that you don't.
Just out of bone of contention, the boy said he'd not been to Ibrox in years. He's your pal. You should be taking him along. You should be digging him out of Forest and taking him down to the game. I think that's what needs to happen. Eh? I look you.
Is this you digging me out now? Is it?
Can I just say, sorry, before the call came in, I wanted to say, what other podcast would you get that sort of insight from Wilf, like being there last night and getting the lowdown and John Gregg, and I could feel the emotion when Wilf was talking. I just think Wilf brings a lot to this podcast, with he gets to go to these functions and stuff, and I think it shouldn't go unnoticed, because it's a really good insight, and I think that's why a lot of people in the comments come week after week, so we're giving them that sort of insight. So brilliant, Wilf. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks, Robert. I wish it was a case of I get to go to these functions. It cost me a bloody fortune, but hell, you know what I mean? It's something I've always wanted to go to the Player of the Year, and I got the chance to go this year, so I went. Simple as that. But no, it was really good to go. There was a comment
Can I just interject really quickly? My microphone was muted to Des, so Des never heard a word I said there. So Des, I apologise. That's obviously why I hung up, because there was no noise. So Des, if you are watching, please listen back to that wee tiny bit when you get a chance, and you'll hear exactly what I said and how you giving money to this podcast or tuning in the adverts, generating revenue, also generates revenue for Rangers Football Club.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, Brian. Just before we
season, sorry. So there's no chance he's going there now.
Just before we carry on, just to answer Hugo Bear's comment here, I believe that no, it's not possible just to make a donation to Rangers. You have to actually buy something, down to financial regularities or whatever. I'm sure this was mentioned. Even like coming out of the administration period and through COVID and stuff like that, you couldn't actually just make a donation. I remember one of the games when we were coming through the divisions, I went and just bought a ticket. I just went to the ticket office and said, I want a ticket. And they said, well, print it out. I said, don't print it out. I don't actually physically want the ticket. I just want to pay for the price of a ticket. And they actually had to physically hand me the ticket, because you can't just make a donation. It's ridiculous, but you can't just make a donation to your football club. You can't just go in and say, I've just won the lottery, there's £500,000, you can't do it.
Listen, I think it's important though that if people are feeling like that, like supporting your football club is no pumping money into it necessarily. It's watching them in the games and backing the players, and when the guy in the pub says your team's rubbish and you tell him no, that's supporting your team for me. And I just think that Des was maybe being a wee bit harsh on himself, but he's good pal Brian. I'm sure he'll be at Ibrox next season, pumping money and buying pies and bottles of cola and stuff like that. So
yeah. Absolutely, but no one pulls off the shirt and shirts combo like Wolf either. There we go, Wolf. You're getting. I felt ridiculously underdressed on Friday, because I walked in and there's Brian and Mark sitting there with odding up to the nines with jackets on. I walked in a pair of shorts and a shirt. You know what I mean? Well, I felt ridiculously underdressed, but hey. Well, as I said at the time, I wanted to show you all up. So.
It'll be full dinner suiting the next time. So,
anyway, folks, that is the phone in. So, thank you very much for all the questions, all the comments. We will obviously, myself and Wolf will be back at 9 p.m. with Carr and Laura to pick the bones of the women's game yesterday. My thanks to James. Thank you for being on. Robert, thank you for being on again. Wolf, I'll just see you in a short while, so I won't say goodbye. But many thanks to everybody for the comments, all the chat. We will be back again. I think we've got a Patreon show on Tuesday, is it? Or Thursday, I think. Thursday. So we'll be back on Thursday.
We're back tomorrow with Patreon, Brian. We're every day with Patreon. Patreon.com/Rangers Rabble. Link is in the description.
Links in the description, yes. So anyway, I shall see you all soon. And thanks for joining us. And we'll see you again soon.